Let me just turn on the captions. Perfect. So yeah, we're discussing how Drupal can be the headless CMS that marketers love, right? So there is a lot of talk around headless CMS for the past 3-4 years. You must have seen it in the agenda of this DrupalCon as well, right? And it's no different from any of the DrupalCons that you might have attended, or even the local camps that you might have attended in the past 4 years or so, right? Headless or decoupled Drupal is definitely a topic of interest, and you'll see a lot of sessions around that. But you might have noticed, if you've been working with different clients, or if you've been dabbling with headless CMS, you might have noticed some sort of a division in the CMS world. At least that's something that I have noticed at Srijan, working for different customers. I've been working for Drupal for over 10 years now. And over the past few years, I've done a lot of decoupled projects as well. But I do see some sort of division in the CMS world between what the marketers and the CMS users expect and how much they actually care about technology, right? So they don't actually care a lot about whether you're implementing a headless Drupal implementation or whether it's a monolith Drupal implementation. They are more bothered about the view on the left, right? They look at uh, their CMS function, the roles that they play in the CMS. It goes beyond just adding content, right? So on the right, you see a very narrow view of looking at a CMS user, which a lot of the pure headless content management systems out there, especially SaaS-based content management systems out there, are focused on. And it works really well for a lot of use cases, right? But that's not all what the CMS users do, right? There are a lot of complex editorial workflows associated with adding content. There are other responsibilities like analytics, SEO. So essentially, people have been using WordPress or Drupal for over a decade now, and they expect certain power and certain features that they're sometimes surprised when they start working with the headless CMS implementation, and even a simple thing like a content preview becomes a feature, right? It becomes something that needs to be added to the backlog, or something that needs to be thought through. It comes as a surprise to them. So there's definitely and for developers, for front end developers especially, this is they are really keen to get on the headless CMS bandwagon, and they don't always realize that how much these features mean to marketers and other people who use CMS. So how do we bridge this gap? So we've been maintaining our own Drupal distribution called Easy Content. It's completely open source. It's available on Drupal.org. And the reason I'll be demoing Easy Content today is because one of the key reasons why we built Easy Content as a Drupal distribution was to bridge this gap and bring in a perspective of when you implement a decoupled Drupal implementation, what are the things that you should focus on, or you should make sure that you have in your decoupled Drupal implementation to improve the editorial experience, right? To improve the experience and make sure you're meeting the expectations that marketers, publishers, site builders, or anybody else, any non-developer essentially who uses the CMS has with decoupled implementations. So quick overview, Easy Content, as I said, it comes with a bunch of other features as well, like AI-powered content generation and a set of starter kits for you to build applications, different front-end applications that are starter kits for Gatsby, Angular, Next.js, React, Vue.js. So it comes with those starter kits. And the focus for us is to improve the editorial experience, which, by the way, was one of the reasons we won an award, Acro Engage Award in 2020 as well for this distribution. And let's straight away jump into the demo for the last 10 minutes and see, right? So some of the things that Easy Content provides out of the box, and some of the things that I feel that every Drupal decoupled implementation should take care of is that, for example, the first feature you see here is the drag and drop experience build, right? That's the layout builder that comes with Drupal. There isn't really a way right now to implement layout builder with decoupled implementations. You see a lot of implementations where either you use paragraphs or some sort of traditional node edit form to control the layout of the pages. But we feel that since layout builder is a great tool and a lot of hard work has gone into it in building that and bringing it to Drupal core over the past few years, we want to make sure that you are able to leverage that in a decoupled implementation as well. So that's something that I will demo today. And I'll also quickly demo content preview of unpublished content. Again, that's a very small feature, but it's actually one of the most important features. And it's actually probably the first thing that your CMS users will notice if it goes missing. And then, of course, there are a lot of other things as well that are part of the distribution, like you can update menus, you can manage menus just like you would in a regular Drupal site. All the Drupal SEO integrations, such as schema.org, ability to set redirects, ability to override the URL alias, meta tags, all the standard features that you would put in on a traditional Drupal site, all of these should work as well in a decoupled implementation. And then if you have use cases, you can also use Drupal's authentication API and do the user authentication and management via Drupal as well. And then, as I mentioned, there are libraries that we publish for different front-end technologies, and you can use those libraries, and they have examples which allow you to use features such as simple configuration like image left, image right, different view modes. And I'll talk about those in the demo just now to actually show you how that works. So I'll quickly jump into the demo. I already have, I'm already logged in to save time, and let me quickly start with the edit the preview functionality for unpublished content. So I have an article here. You can see it is unpublished. I go to the edit page. It's archived as per a workflow. So this is unpublished, right? And if I copy the URL and let me open it in another browser. So let me open this in Safari, for example. And it's archived, it's unpublished. You can see it's giving me a 403 access denied. So that's expected, right? It's unpublished. Now, if you implement a completely decoupled implementation, it's very hard to provide a preview, right? But what you can do is you can do something like this. So what we have done is we have a preview link here where you can see if I go full screen. So this is, I'm tagged, right now I'm looking at Drupal, but we have different applications, decoupled applications hooked up here as well. So for example, I can do, this is a React Next.js application. And as an editor, if I'm using the CMS backend, I can use this dropdown. I can switch to my different front ends, and I can still generate a preview for myself, right? So this is now a React application. This is Next.js application, which is completely decoupled from Drupal, but still I'm able to access this unpublished archive content and still see the preview. And the way it works is I can copy this URL. I can also open it in a new tab to show you how that works. You can see that we are attaching this unique hash key, which only the editor will be able to get if they're logging to Drupal, if they have the right permission, and if they're able to access this dropdown on the previous screen, right? So again, it's an experience for an editor. As I said earlier, they don't really care what technology you're using or how you've implemented the front end. They expect an inline preview, just like they would expect it with the regular Drupal site. So that's a very quick thing that you should be there in decoupled projects. And Easy Content has a module to do this. And I can talk more about this feature if there is time left and how we've actually implemented it. But another very exciting feature, is the layout builder, right? As I mentioned, that's something that has been put into Drupal core after so many years of hard work. So, we want to make sure we are able to leverage that in decoupled implementations as well. So I have a content type called landing page. It's a very simple landing content type with basic metadata fields. And in this demo, I'll also do a few things that give you an idea of other things as well when it comes to decoupled implementation. So as I mentioned, with Easy Content, I can also override the URL. So let's give a custom URL here for the page. So custom DrupalCon demo. So I'm changing the URL alias of this page. I can even change the meta tag. So you can see we have some basic tags here. We have schema.org. So I'm going to select, let's call it a technical article. Again, these are standard contributed modules features that you might be putting into your traditional Drupal sites, but want to make sure you're able to leverage all of this with decoupled implementations as well. All right, so getting into the layout builder, here is a completely empty layout builder interface. I'm going to add a few components quickly and then show you how these are rendered on decoupled implementation. So we have a hero card component here. So I'm going to quickly configure this. I'll select a background image. So again, these are, so on this component, this is a good example of what kind of features you can add in Drupal, right? So Drupal gives you the flexibility to create custom blocks, custom paragraph types. So you can see this particular component has a few different configuration. I can add some text. I can change the position of the text, left, right, center. I can change the color of the banner that goes behind the text. I can change the opacity. I'm going to quickly add this. Layout Builder also lets you dynamically add columns. So I'm going to add 2 columns over here. On the left column, I'm going to add a social media post. Let's bring in a tweet here. So let me just grab a tweet URL. Okay, and then let's add one more component. Google Maps should be very quick. So I'm just going to give a, again, so this is all, power of Drupal. You're able to quickly build a page using the layout builder. You have the flexibility of different kinds of components. I've placed them here. And this is your normal Drupal traditional workflow, which site builders and other CMS users are used to, right? Now, if I go to preview, similar to what I showed you in the articles, I have a bunch of different, so we are more concerned about the decoupled interfaces for this session. So let's look at Gatsby Cloud, right? Gatsby is a static site generator. So we have this application hooked up to Gatsby as well. So let me copy this URL, show you by opening it in a new window as well. So as you can see, the URL at the top is the custom one that we had provided. You can see we have a hero image, text center aligned, red background, tweet on the left, map on the right, right? If I go back to if I close the preview, I want to make some more changes. Let's move these things around, right? So I'm going to move everything into a single column over here. And so let's make sure. So let's put the hero at the top and social media, and then the map block at the bottom. So I'm making these changes on my Drupal interface using the layout builder, and these are getting reflected on decouple interfaces as well. So sorry, here is the Gatsby preview. You can see this is the Gatsby site. It's going to take a few seconds to refresh, but we should see the changes here on this page. Did I save this? Okay. Let me try one more. There you go. So you can see now the hero is at the top and everything is in a single column, right? So the blocks moved around, and I don't know if I have time. I have just 1 minute left. Maybe let me quickly do one more change to show you the flexibility. So let's go back to our hero media. And let's say I just change the background color to something like this, right? So I pick the green color. I'm going to make another change, hit save. And we'll come back to the Gatsby page, and hopefully this refreshes in a few seconds. So, this was a very quick demo. There are a lot more things. You can see the color change to green. So as you can see, right, with some work and, with using something like easy content, which we've completely open source, using these libraries, next time that you're thinking of a decouple implementation, you don't necessarily have to do away with the, traditional CMS features that marketers are really used to, right? You can actually bring these to decouple implementations as well. And if you have done something similar, or if you're interested in implementing some of those features to your project, then would love to hear more about that. I have put in some links in the session chat as well. I'm going to put these back at the bottom in case you want to see a more extensive demo. You can do that on the YouTube channel. There are a few more demo videos there. And then, of course, you can also stop by our Srijan booth to have discuss any more questions. So I know we're completely at time. Not sure if we'll be kicked out or something, but yeah, if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. And if there is time, I can take them on, or we can definitely connect on the Srijan booth. Thank you so much for joining this quick session. Yep. I hope you have a nice rest of the DrupalCon. Thank you.